Hi there, this is Diecast channel, and in this video we're going to do a review on this 1998 to 2004 Ford Crown Vic Taxicab made in a 1:18 scale by Motor Max. So stay with me to the end of this video, and don't forget to subscribe in case you haven't subscribed yet, and also give me your thumbs up, share this video, and click the bell for news. So let's unbox this car and take a better look at it right now. So here you have the Crown Vic. This name, Crown Victoria, was first used back in 1955 and 1956 for the fanciest Ford Fairlanes at a time. And those Ford Fairlane Crown Victorias had some special trims and also the option of having the transparent plexiglass green roof that sometimes would be just like a greenhouse during summertime. That was a minus of that car, although the car was very stylish with that type of roof. Those Crown Victorias nowadays are collector's items. Back in 1959, Ford introduced the Ford Galaxy as one more option for a full-size car, and a Fairlane became the intermediate option instead of being the top option for Ford. Ford had the Ford Galaxy, and below the Ford Galaxy there was a Ford Fairlane. In 1960 there was a Ford Galaxy Starliner, just like a model I've shown in one of my videos, one that's made by Earl in a 1:18 scale. This one is made by Motor Max, and Ford continued producing the Ford Galaxy and later on the Ford LTD as the most luxurious option. Then after the Ford Galaxy and the Ford LTD, Ford introduced the Ford LTD Landau, which was the most luxurious version of this car. It had a different type of trim, vinyl roof, hidden headlights back in the 1970s. The name Landau came from old carriages. It's a French name actually. It was used because of some trims that the Ford LTD Landau had at the time that reminded of the top of those carriages. That's just a curiosity, really. Back in the 1980s, Ford Galaxy was discontinued and the Ford LTD took on the mission. It was often used as a taxicab and police car. That Ford became the Ford LTD Crown Victoria. Back in 1992, Ford LTD Crown Victoria was completely restyled and the new car was just named Crown Victoria. It dropped the LTD name. Besides, its style was based on the first generation of Ford Taurus. It was a full-size car with very nice lines and a little less controversial than the lines of the Chevrolet Caprice at the time. Back in 1998, we had the second generation of the Crown Victoria, which is this very model we have right here. So this model here represents the generation from 1998 to 2004. In 2005, there was a little restyling in the grille, new mesh, and some minor details, but the car remained the same. This new generation of the Crown Victoria was produced from 2005 to 2012. In 2012, the line was completely discontinued. Police departments in the United States still miss the Crown Vics. One of Jay Leno's garage videos, when he talks about police cars and he had a retired policeman as a guest that was saying which American police cars was the best, and the Crown Vic was one of the best police cars ever. This model made by Motor Max is a very interesting model since it has opening doors, trunk, and hood, and it's got a pretty good quality. It's a basic model. It's about the same casting green light as used for its police cars. This taxi cab was sort of adapted from the police car since chassis reads for Crown Victoria Police Interceptor. One very nice detail about this model car is the opening doors, opening hood, and opening trunk. This car has got some very nice detail. It's a pretty good model car. It's not the most refined one, but it's not the simplest one. I would say it's a simple to intermediate model. I got this car for a pretty good price in New York. I don't remember exactly what store it was, but it was a small store. It was covered with dust. I was looking for a New York taxi cab, but when I got home, took a closer look at it, I noticed it was actually a San Francisco taxi cab. But it's no big deal, really. I like it anyway. We can notice the engine bay. That's all made in black. The engine is made in black with this cover right here above the air filter. It's a fuel injected engine. It's a 4.6 V8 and it's got the other components, but we cannot see cables and wires. But the grill is an actual grill. It's different from the newer Crown Vics because of this mesh that instead of being horizontal, newer ones are diagonal. Besides motor mechs and green light, there was also an auto art version of this car, which was a fancier model car, although it's much more expensive. The hinges are kind of thick. They're not really so thick. The hood is quite well made. The headlights lack a little realism. They could be a little bit better. They're not bad, but they could be better, actually. Dashboard, pretty well made. It's got some little flashing, some little plastic looking. It's no big deal, really. It's not a bad piece. It's pretty well made. Steering wheel looks good. Gauges are actually stickers. Pedals and seats look pretty good. This is not really a bad model car. Rear opening doors, although the opening is not so wide, it's pretty cool because we have all 4 opening doors. In basic models, simpler models usually have opening front doors only. From the passenger side, some more details of interior and a pretty good dashboard with the automatic transmission and the tree. So it's a 4-speed automatic transmission for this car. There's also a radio and a glove compartment lid. There's no headliner in this model car. It's quite a simple model. There's just a mirror and no sun visors. Very roomy trunk for this car and a spare tire. Fortunately, it's got a decent spare tire, not those thin ones that look like motorcycle tires. The Ford logo on the trunk lid and reverse lights around the license plate on the trunk lid. And those tail lights that remind a little bit the ones of a Mercedes. And just could be a little thinner, but they're not bad at all. Dual exhaust, as usual for a V8. Pretty good base. It's a body on frame. Wheels and tires are pretty well made. The chrome is simple chrome, but it's not really that cheap looking chrome. It's a pretty good chrome, really, and it's in a pretty good shape as well. This car, it's been in my collection for about 8 years. The mufflers are pretty good. They've got some tiny flashings. They're not really as accurate as the ones you find in Highway 61 and GMP. Suspension does not work. It's got all fixed elements, but the elements are quite well reproduced in this car. A few things could be improved in this car. The headlights and those trims around the windows that could be painted black, just like it happens to the rear door windows. But anyway, it's a pretty good car for its standard. It's a cheap model car, but it's not necessarily a cheaply made model car, which is quite different. The headlights could be a little bit more realistic. Blinkers, tail lights are pretty good. Well, the car in general is pretty good, and the chromes are in a good quality, speaking of the wheels. So ranking this car from 0 to 10, I would give it a 9. I think it really deserves a 9 since it's not really the most sophisticated model car I've ever seen, but being a basic model makes this car play its role quite well. So I'd like to thank you for all likes and views, for all subscriptions. Please don't forget to subscribe my channel in case you haven't subscribed yet. Give me a thumbs up, share this video, and let me know down in the comments what you think about the video and about the car. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.